A very good morning to all of you. This is Abhilasha Nada, your social science teacher. So, class, today we are going to continue our chapter first of your civics textbook, that is the Indian Constitution. So, class, in our last class, what we have discussed, we discussed about uh, the why do we need to okay we discussed about why do we need why do we need a constitution. So first of all, let's revise that portion. Okay, so start revising that portion. Why do we need a constitution? What is constitution? So what is constitution? The basic principles and laws of a nation, state, or group that determine the powers and duties of the government and guarantee certain rights to the people in it. Okay, so some rules, laws, principles of a nation, state, or you can say a social group that determines what powers or duties government is having, and it also guarantees some rights to the citizens of that particular country. That book is known as constitution, or if you want to say simply, what is a constitution? So a written set of rules is known as constitution. Okay, so now our next topic was why do we need a constitution. We discussed about why do we need a constitution. Okay, so why there is a huge need for having a constitution. It lays out certain ideals that form the basis of the kind of a country that we as citizens aspire to live in. Okay, some ideals are there. It lays out some ideals that form a country, that form a kind of country that we as a citizens, people of a country desire to live in, aspire to live in. कि कुछ आइडल्स होने चाहिए एक कंट्री में, कि इक्वालिटी होनी चाहिए, यहाँ पे फ्रीडम होना चाहिए, ठीक है, सेक्युलरिज्म होना चाहिए, फंडामेंटल राइट्स होने चाहिए. दीज आर सम ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल्स. ओके, दीज आर सम ऑफ द आइडल्स. ठीक है, कि एक कंट्री में क्या आइडल्स होने चाहिए, हम एज ए सिटीजन हमारे कंट्री में क्या चाहते हैं, उस चीज को एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है मेंशन करता है. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में वो सारी चीजें मेंशन होती है. Now, secondly, it defines the nature of the country's political system. What is the nature of your country's political system? Democratic nature or monarchical nature, or what type of political system you have in your country? So we uh, discuss this point with the help of the story of Nepal. After that, it provides safeguard against the powerful authority. Okay, so whoever in power do not whoever is in the power does not use his power, misuse his power. So it give us the protection or safeguard against this powerful authorities. And we understand this, we understood this point with the help of that classroom situation, class monitor situation. It also ensures that a dominant group does not use its power against the other less powerful or less powerful people or groups. Okay, whoever the dominant group or whoever are in the majority, okay, does not use its power against the less powerful people or groups, or you can say minorities. And we discuss two types of dominance: intra-community dominance and inter-community dominance under this point. Okay, next is it saves us from ourselves. Sometimes what happens, we took decisions which is good for which is not good for ourselves in the long run, but maybe it is good for like for present or for short time it may be good for us, but for the long term it is not good for us. So sometimes constitution save us from ourselves, okay, from taking bad decisions and etc. Okay, so we discussed all these things till now. Okay, now let's do this. This is an activity, or you can say let's do this activity. Let's recall this activity and why do we need a constitution, and the why constitution plays an important role in democratic societies. Okay, so let let us recap the reasons why the constitution plays an important role in democratic societies by recalling the constitutive rules that you have read about through these examples. Now, look at the examples. Your first one is the people of Nepal adopted a new constitution after the success of the people's movement for democracy. So, कौन सा कॉन्स्टिट्यूटिव रूल जो है यहाँ पे लग रहा है, it lays down ideas that define the kind of country that we want to live in. So, the people of Nepal adopted a new constitution. Why? Because it lays down ideas that define the kind of the country that we want to live in. This is one of the constitutive rule. Okay, कि as a citizen हम कैसे रहना चाहते हैं, how do we want to live in, we as a citizen aspire to live in. Okay, this is one of the constitutive rule. Okay, now second example is Suresh. Please complete it. It is mentioned in your book also. So please complete it. On page number 10, it is given. Suresh, the class monitor, wrongly picks on Anil, his classmate. Now you have some time. You have some time to complete it. Please complete it and raise your hands, those who have completed. Okay, very good, Priyanshi. Yes, Priyanshi, please unmute your device. Priyanshi, please unmute your device. Pavan Kumar Das, please unmute your device.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, Pavan. Good morning. Yes, tell me. Which constitutive rule?
The safeguard protect us. Safeguard protect us. Safeguard protect us. One second. And the safeguard protect us from powerful authority.
Yes.
Hello?
So, hello. Yes, beta. It lays down rules that guard against this misuse of authority. It lays down some rules that safeguard against the misuse of this authority. Okay, good, Pavan. Now, next one is, it is already here, so I clicked it mistakenly. The girls do not get to play basketball because the boys are a majority in class. What would happen? And which constitutive rule is laying down here? It lays down rules that prevent domination by the majority of a minority. ठीक है, गर्ल्स बास्केटबॉल खेलना चाह रही थी, बट बॉयज वो क्या चाहते थे कि वो क्रिकेट खेलना चाह रहे थे. तो यहाँ पे माइनॉरिटी डोमिनेशन हो रहा था, मेजॉरिटी क्या कर रही थी, माइनॉरिटी को डोमिनेट कर रही थी. नाउ द लास्ट वन इज Shabnam decides to revise her chapters instead of watching TV. Now tell me which constitutive rule should we apply here? कौन सा rule apply होना चाहिए? Please tell me. क्या हुआ? किसी को भी नहीं आ रहा? Okay. Yes, Jayantika, please unmute your device.
Ma'am, it lays down the constitution, lays down the rules that helps to protect us again, like certain decisions which are good for now, like which are like not good for now, but it will help you, it will help you in the future.
Yes, very good, Jayantika. It saves us from ourselves. It helps to protect us against certain decisions that we might take that could have an adverse effect. Okay, it is possible we took certain decisions which is not good for ourselves, right? Which is not good for ourselves in the long run. Maybe it is good for ourselves in right now, but not for uh, our future. Okay, so it is helping us protecting us against certain decisions that we might take that could have an adverse effect later on. Okay, so very good. So now let's move to our next topic, that is the Indian Constitution. Okay, so first of all, as you all know, by the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian National Movement. Now, what is this Indian National Movement? Indian National Movement founded in the year 1885, and the General Secretary of the Indian National Movement was A.O. Hume. Okay, now this Indian national movement emerged in the 19th century, and or you can say at the beginning of the 20th century. So India saw uh, mm, we saw thousands of men and women coming together to fight British rule. So this culminated our independence in the year 1947. So many people, so many nationalists were there, so many people were there who fought for our independence. So those were the that is known that was known as the Indian National Movement. So the active role of Indian National Movement for independence, okay? So people really participated very actively in this struggle for our independence, for British rule, and for several decades they struggled. And during the freedom struggle, nationalists devoted a great deal of time to imagining and planning what a free India wants to be like. Okay, what would it be? What it would be like? नेशनलिस्ट जो थे उन्होंने बहुत सोच विचार किया ड्यूरिंग दैट स्ट्रगल फॉर गेटिंग freedom from the British rule. They imagined what type of India they wanted to have, what type they were doing so many plannings for free India. Okay, now under the British rule they had been forced to obey rules that they had very little role in making, but and from this long experience of this authoritarian rule, they know what they wanted in free India. They wanted democracy. Now, what is a democracy? Democracy is a form of government where people elect their representatives. People play a key role in this type of government. Okay, so from this long experience of this authoritarian rule under the colonial state, they convinced Indians, or convinced themselves, that we wanted free India. We wanted that free India should be a democracy in which everyone should be treated equally and be allowed to participate in government. Okay, ये चीज बहुत क्लियर थी कि हमें एक ऐसा इंडिया चाहिए जहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट में लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर सकें, ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट सब इक्वली ट्रीट हो सकें। तो ये चीज बहुत क्लियर थी नेशनलिस्ट के दिमाग में जब वो स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए। Okay, so now what remained to be done then was to work out the ways in which a democratic would be set up in India and the rules that would determine its functioning. So what they should do now. They made a constituent assembly, which we already discussed. What is constituent assembly? A constituent assembly is a body or group of members composed for the purpose of drafting or adopting a constitution. ठीक है, एक ऐसा बॉडी और ऐसे ग्रुप ऑफ मेंबर्स जिनको सेलेक्ट किया गया है किस पर्पस के लिए, फॉर ड्राफ्टिंग और अडॉप्टिंग अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. Okay, so now this constituent assembly, first of all, yes, this constituent assembly formed in December 1946. Okay, group of around 300 members were there. Approximately 300 members became the members of this became members of the constituent assembly in the year 1946, and they periodically met for 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to write Indian constitution. Approximately 3 years they met for 3 years to write down, to draft the Indian constitution. Okay, the exact time period is like this: 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, or you can write approximately 3 years to draft our Indian constitution. Constituent assembly formed in the year 1946. How many members were there? Around 300 members were there in the constituent assembly. And for what time they took to write this constitution? They took approximately 2 years, 11 months and approximately 3 years, or you can say 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to write this Indian constitution. Now, who was the chairman of the drafting community, or you can say constituent assembly? Do you know the answer? Do you know who was the chairman of the, or you can say father of the Indian constitution? Who is known as the father of the Indian constitution? Yes, Ishan Khatri, please unmute your device.
B.R. Ambedkar.
Yes, very good, Ishan. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, or Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar is known as the father of the Indian constitution, and he was the chairman of the constituent assembly. Just look. He is. This is the photograph of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Now, just to read about him little bit, and we will also see a video telling about the life, little bit about the Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Okay, so now Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar is known as the father of the Indian Constitution. Dr. Ambedkar believed that his participation in the Constituent Assembly helped the scheduled castes get some safeguards in the draft constitution. Now, first of all, you know, he is known as the father of the Indian Constitution. After that, he believed his participation in the Constituent Assembly helped scheduled caste, or you can say Dalit community, to get some safeguard in the to get some safeguard while making the while drafting the constitution or while making the constitution. He totally believed that, because he was also a Dalit, or belonging to the scheduled caste, so he thought कि अगर मैं मेंबर रहूंगा और मैं पार्टिसिपेट करूंगा कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में, तो ये शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट को कुछ ना कुछ सेफ्टी प्रोवाइड करेंगे. ओके. But he also stated that although the laws might exist, scheduled castes still had reasons to fear, because the administration of these laws were in the hands of caste Hindu officers, upper caste Hindu officers. Now, he stated that laws are there, laws might exist, but the scheduled caste still had reasons to fear, because the main handling were in the hands of upper caste or caste Hindu officers. So maybe there are several reasons. There were several reasons, like scheduled caste को जिससे डरने की जरूरत है. That's why he said, he urged scheduled caste to join the government as well as the civil services. He urged, or you can say, he requested scheduled caste or Dalit community to join government as well as the civil services, because he knew very well that if administration system will be in the hands of the upper caste Hindu, they will not provide good opportunities to the scheduled caste. That's why he urged scheduled caste to join the government as well as the civil services. Okay, now just look, I'm going to show you a video telling about the life of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. It is a little biography of
Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, lovingly known as Baba Saheb Ambedkar, is the chief architect of the Constitution of India. He was an Indian social reformer, jurist, economist, scholar, and politician. Dr. Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891 in the cantonment area of Mahau in present-day Madhya Pradesh. Ramji Sakpal, an Indian army officer, and his wife Bhima Bai. He was the youngest of 14 children. His family belonged to the Dalit caste of Mahar, who were formerly considered as
Sorry, there might be a network issue here.
untouchables or of a low caste. Young Bhimrao faced a lot of humiliation due to his caste. Though he was allowed to attend school, he was kept apart and treated badly by the teachers and students who were from the upper castes. But Ambedkar was a brilliant student. He passed his matriculation examination in 1907 and entered the University of Bombay, becoming one of the first persons from his caste to enter a college in India. He was married to a 9-year-old girl, Ramabai from Dapoli, in 1908. Ambedkar entered Elphinstone College and obtained a scholarship of 25 rupees a month from Sayaji Rao III, the ruler of Baroda, for higher studies. By 1912, he was awarded many scholarships that allowed him to study at prestigious universities like the Columbia University in New York and the London School of Economics. He obtained his degree and took up employment with the Baroda state government. In the same year, his wife gave birth to their first son, Yashwant. In 1916, he completed his thesis, National Dividend of India, a historic and analytical study. Parallelly, he led the Dalit movement, which fought against social discrimination against Dalits. In 1923, he set up an institution named Bahishkrit Hitkarini Sabha to spread education amongst the Dalits and represent their problems to the government. In 1927, he led the historic untouchables the right to draw water from a public tank in Mahad, Maharashtra. The same year, he received his PhD in economics. In 1930, he became the president of the All India Depressed Class Association. During the early 1930s, 3 roundtable conferences were held in London between the Indian leaders and the British government, where he strongly represented the interests of the Dalits. In 1932, the Pune Pact was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Ambedkar, which allowed special reservations for Dalits in government jobs and political bodies, and also ensured opportunities in education and the right to vote. In 1935, Ambedkar was appointed principal of the Government Law College for 2 years. The same year, Ramabai died of a long illness. Many years later, he married Dr. Sharda Kapil, who adopted the name Savita Ambedkar. In 1936, Ambedkar founded the Independent Labour Party, which was a political organization to fight social injustice. Ambedkar was elected Labour Minister in the Viceroy's Council in 1937. He successfully led the struggle for reduction of work from 12 hours a day to 8 hours in 1942. He contributed the idea of setting up of employment exchanges in India. When India became independent in 1947, he became the first Minister of Law and Justice. He was the chief architect of the Constitution of India, which came into effect on 26 January 1950, celebrated as Republic Day of India. In 1950, Ambedkar traveled to Sri Lanka to attend a convention of Buddhist scholars and monks. He was greatly influenced by Buddhism and founded the Bharatiya Bauddha Mahasabha in 1955. During 1954 and 55, Ambedkar suffered serious health problems, including diabetes and weak eyesight. In 1956, Baba Sahib formally renounced Hinduism and embraced Buddhism, along with 2 lakh followers, at a formal ceremony in Nagpur, Maharashtra. On 6 December 1956, he died at his home in Delhi and was cremated in a Buddhist style. The ceremony was attended by hundreds of thousands of supporters, activists, and admirers. After his death, he was awarded the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian honor, in 1990. A life-size statue of him was unveiled in the central hall of the parliament. Every year on his death anniversary, lakhs of Ambedkar followers gather in Mumbai to observe Mahaparinirvan Din. And every year on his birthday, 14th April, Ambedkar Jayanti is celebrated at the parliament to honor his memory. He wrote many books through his life, like Annihilation of Caste and The Buddha and His Dhamma, and was said to have had over 50,000 books in his personal library. Dr. Ambedkar is the shining symbol of social equality, a champion of human rights for the downtrodden in India, and is widely considered as one of the most influential makers of modern India.
So class, we have seen this biography of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, Baba Sahib Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. He was the president and he contributed a lot in India. For the scheduled caste, he worked a lot for scheduled caste, for lower caste community also. So now, who is the president? Who was the president of the Indian Constitution? The president of the Indian Constitution was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and just look at his picture. And he also contributed. He was also the first president of India also. Okay. Now, class, there was a huge task before the Constituent Assembly. बहुत सारे difficulties और बहुत सारी problems उनको face करने को मिली. As you know, our country was made up of several different communities who spoke different languages and belonged to different religions. Uh, they had distinct cultures, etc., etc. So when Constitution was being written, India is going through uh, this turmoil of participation or partition also between Pakistan and India. So बहुत सारी चीजें जो हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली के मेंबर्स को देखनी थी फाइल ड्राफ्टिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ये सारी चीजें मेंशन करनी थी, बहुत सारी चीजें उनको देखते हुए काम करना था. दे also has to face socio-economic conditions of the masses of population, like most of mass of the population in India was poor, so they have to draft constitution according to them also. So they rose to the occasion, like they met for like approximately 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days, and gave this country a visionary document that reflects respect for maintaining diversity while preserving our national unity also. And also this document, this constitution of ours also concerned for eradicating poverty also. Okay, so there are some features of our Indian constitutions which we are going to discuss in our next class. Okay, so class, just look at this. The final document also reflects their concern eradicating poverty through socio-economic reforms, as well as emphasizing the crucial role that the people can play in choosing their representatives. So this final document, the Indian Constitution, reflect the concerns for eradicating poverty, emphasizing maintaining national unity, preserving the cultures of preserving different cultures of India, maintaining the diversity of India, and they give crucial role to the people. Like people can elect their representative also. So now just this in this pictures, there was an extraordinary unity amongst the members of the Constituent Assembly. Each of the provisions of the future constitution was discussed in great detail, and there was a sincere effort to compromise and reach an agreement through consensus. Now क्लास, इस पिक्चर में हम सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल को देख रहे हैं, एक वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट मेंबर ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली, और उनकी वर्ल्ड स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी जो है गुजरात में सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल की बनी है. और क्लास, जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली के जो मेंबर्स हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाते हुए, उन्होंने हर एक रूल्स के, हर एक रूल को, हर एक प्रोविजन को बहुत डेडिकेटेडली डिटेल में क्या किया है, डिबेट किया था, डिस्कस किया था. एंड आफ्टर दैट they made this very living document of ours, the Indian Constitution. Okay, so class, go through this topic, and if you face any problem, you can message me or call me. And this is all about today. Thank you so much for joining the class. Bye bye, take care. Yes, Jayantika, please unmute your device.
Ma'am, as I remember, ma'am, the Indian Constitution India got independent in 1947. So ma'am, you told that the Constitution was
Yes.
formed in 1946. So ma'am, how 1 year later? Because after independence,
No. Constitution. No. I said Constituent Assembly made in the year 1946 for drafting Constitution.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
So ma'am, the Constitution was made in which year?
1946.
Ma'am,
1940, November 1949, they adopted the Constitution, and they implemented the Constitution from 26 January 1950, and at that day we celebrate our Republic Day.
Okay. And ma'am, the partition was
Okay.
in 1946. The partition.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
Jayantika. We have like very few seconds left with us. Call me if you are facing any kind of doubt. Okay, Anshul, you too.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, class. Take care of yourself. Bye bye. Avika, you too. Call me if you are facing any problem. Yash, Avika. Those who are facing any problem, call me.